So where are we going?
Sailing.
Sailing? Where?
Grenada.
Grenada. Sailing. Okay, I know that back at the introduction video a few weeks ago I said that Fiona and I had planned to do one of those buggy tours organised by Sandals. Well, guess what? We didn't. However, I did intimate back then that our plans would probably change, and yes, they did change, because instead of doing one of those buggy tours, we decided to go sailing. So with the rain on Wednesday morning moving south, the skies were clearing up and we decided to go for it. Michael and Donna also decided to join us, and at 12:30 we were collected by a taxi to be taken to the Marina at St George's. We organised this through a friend of ours, Mr Sanders himself, Ken Stevens, who put us in touch with Clive Lawrence, who is the general manager for the Moorings at the St George's Marina. Clive has given me permission to pass on his mobile phone number to anyone who would like to charter a yacht while in Grenada. Check out the description on this YouTube video and you will find Clive's mobile number, or should I translate to you Americans, his cell phone number. So our yacht for the day was the Lone Star, registered in that well-known Texan port, Fort Worth. I've actually been to Fort Worth and I know that it's nowhere near the sea. In fact, checking it out, it was 263 miles from the Gulf of Mexico and nearly 4 hours drive away. So I've absolutely no clue how you can register a boat in Fort Worth. However, the Lone Star was a gorgeous catamaran, but please don't ask me any of the facts and figures, length, size, etc., because quite honestly, I've got no idea. This boat was beautiful, it was fantastic, and we were really looking forward to our day on the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Grenada. I know guys, the cheek of us, because Michael and I raided our minibars. In fact, we emptied our minibars back in our rooms at Sandals Resort Grenada before heading out for the day on this trip. If you're wondering about this super yacht at the beginning of this video as we entered the marina, I can tell you now that she's called the Venus and she was designed and commissioned by the late Steve Jobs. As you can imagine, this super yacht is now owned by Steve's wife, but it is reckoned to have cost $250 million to build, with running costs of around $80 million per year. However, I'm pretty confident that Mrs Jobs is good for it and she's not worried about finding a measly $80 million a year to run this gorgeous boat called Venus. So back on the good ship Lone Star. Our captain for the day was Eki, supported by his first mate, the one and only Clive Lawrence himself. And Team Campbell and Nevin were ready for our day on the high seas just off the coast of Grenada. With the sails hoisted just outside the bay at St George's, our first stop for the afternoon was going to be lunch at the BBC beach. Right, 1, 2, 3, cheers! I've got no idea what I'm doing here, but I'm sure it's related to drinking too much Carib beer. Hold your horses, none of that crappy Celine Dion rubbish on this YouTube video, because I've gone copyright free. Now, if you'd taken the time to watch my Pilot Your Own Boat video from Grenada 2017 that I published again a few weeks ago, you would know that Fiona and I have already been to the BBC beach. So we're back again in 2018, and yes, it is as gorgeous as it was a year ago.
Right now, it's been too long.
Now, if you look very carefully, you will see a restaurant on the far left of the BBC beach, and you've guessed it, that's where we're going. Clive was at pains to tell us that it was his local, I suppose just in case we misbehaved. He also told me who owned the pub restaurant, but yeah, it had too many Caribs and I just can't remember.
It's been too long.
You think?
Fantastical!
Right, I've got to make it clear right now that it's not straight Coke that the guys are drinking. I know that Michael and Donna were drinking Jack Daniels and Coke, and I'm pretty sure Fiona's was a rum and Coke. Now, if you ever go to this pub on the BBC beach run by the guy I just can't remember, I can highly recommend the 50-50 burgers. That's 50% pork and 50% beef. They were awesome. Washed down by me, by Carib, and, well, Coke and whatever the rest that those guys were drinking. Fed and watered, it was time to get back onto the rib and head out to the Lone Star, because next stop, we were snorkeling.
Been drawn out enough. I'll wait till you move on. And move on and turn this to dust. It's been too long. It's been too long.
And once Clive had pulled hard enough on his chain, it was time to set sail for the snorkel site just north of St George's. I know what you're thinking, guys, the sky looks rather angry. However, to keep us company, we had our liberated booze courtesy of Sandals Grenada, so a little rain was never going to dampen the spirits of the good sailors Liv'n and Campbell. At this stage in the afternoon, Clive had to leave the party to go and deal with some boring old work-related stuff. And that left the rest of us to continue with the party and get ready to do some snorkeling. And yes, I did take my GoPro into the water with me, but the visibility was so bad I'm afraid I got absolutely no worthwhile footage. However, we were snorkeling in the same location we were last year during the Pilot Your Own Boat tour. So if you would like to see the underwater sculptures lurking just below the waves a few hundred metres off the coast of Grenada, I suggest you look back 3 or 4 videos to Pilot Your Own Boat in Grenada 2017.
Stars are the jewels of the night, hidden behind a horizon. Into the...
What's that I see between the 2 hulls of the Catamaran? Is it a fish? Is it a shark? No, it's Fiona.
We were chosen, hearts are frozen. We were chosen.
And just after we left the snorkel location en route back to the Marina at St George's, Clive Lawrence decided to rejoin the party. And shortly after, it started to rain, and boy, did it rain. However, helped along by the liberated Sandals booze, we were always going to keep that smile on our face.
Once upon a time, and fame was on the road. We were dreamers, free and fearless.
Now, one of the key briefs that Donna had given Clive is that she'd wanted to see one of those incredible Grenada sunsets as we sailed back into harbour. And while we knew Clive's fix-it skills were legendary, we also had to accept that his weather-changing abilities were sadly lacking, and therefore one of those beautiful Grenada sunsets was off the menu tonight. And therefore, I'm very sorry, Donna, so we'll have to come back and do this whole sailing thing again one day very soon. And as we entered the Bay of St George's, the sun had well and truly begun to set. And this is where our iPhones and GoPros started to let us down. And here's a photo of Clive Lawrence with Michael and Donna. However, I cannot complete this video without doing a massive shout out to Clive and Eki because they put on a wonderful day. I'll also put Clive's contact details in the comment section below, so you can contact Clive if you're in Grenada and you would like to charter a yacht yourself. And what I'm about to say now will mean absolutely nothing to the average American watching this video. And therefore, here in true Blue Peter style are some incredible photographs that Clive took only a few days before of the fantastic Grenada sunset from his home at the BBC beach.